Hi there, folks. Simon here. This is the 2022 TAC Championship. This is the four-game quarterfinals match between fwwwwib and Ali. Fwib is in black and Ali is in white for this game one of this four-game tournament match. Now, this game is played, like all tournament games in this tournament, on a 6x6 board with a 15-minute timer and a 15-second increment, meaning 15 seconds get added to your clock after every turn, and also 2 komi, meaning that if the game ends without a road, 2 gets added to black's flat count score. Now, this is a little bit of an interesting situation we had here. I have been able to record all of the previous games in this tournament. However, this one, because Ali is in Australia and Fwib is in the UK, they decided to play it at 3:30 in the morning, my time in the USA. Now, interestingly enough, between these two players, Ali used to live in the UK, and they have met up and played together in person several times. So this will be nothing new playing together, but it will be a little bit higher stakes, I'd say, than their previous pub games. So that is all the intro I've got for this one. We are watching this video being recorded from the perspective of Ali because he was kind enough to record this as he played and sent me the files. And so I haven't seen this. I haven't watched it, but I am ready to give live commentary now over the top of his video that he sent me. So we'll see how it goes. So you will be seeing someone playing the moves. It is not me. It is Ali playing the moves because we're watching from his screen. So let's jump right into game one. All right, so we're seeing A6 placed by Ali. Now will Fwib go for opposite or adjacent corners? Goes for the adjacent. Fwib Ali going for center control here as opposed to the knight's opening that's so preferred by so many players now. Ooh, and drops that early capstone. Starting out with the first capstone as white, I feel like is a really strong move, and it's a really big power play. If you can manage that and still have it work out for you, I think that's the way to go. Letting black dictate when that capstone drops often just works in favor of black and shifts that momentum. And so having that early capstone, I feel like, is going to work out well here for Ali. Probably going to play down at c2, because now that black has that capstone placed at e4, white knows that their vertical threat is basically dismantled whenever black decides to come over with that black capstone. And so white wants to shift gears going for that horizontal. Black cuts that off with a b2, and then white just places again with the b3. We might see an a2 here or an a3. Looks like he's going for the a3, most likely. It's interesting being able to see where his cursor is going, how he's thinking about the move, picks it up, hovers over. We don't normally get to see that, so this is kind of a fun little thing here, being able to see from his perspective. Taking a minute to think, thinking about what to do. Brings the capstone over, interestingly enough. Now, I like this move, and I hadn't considered it. I thought about placing the flat first. But bringing the capstone over really hurts black's position there, but also makes it so black's capstone isn't as impactful against white's line. However, black placed at d3, working on that horizontal line for black. And so white has momentum, sure, but when black stops white's momentum, which they can with like a b2 right onto c2, then black can get that momentum back. So I think that was a smart play from black, but also a really good play from white. I like how this is going to end up, I think, later on in the game. I think white's capstone is in a really good position here, and it's centrally located on white's threats, and it can be part of both vertical and horizontal threats here that he already has partially built out. I think this is looking really good for white. Ooh, black drops a wall. Now, you'll notice that black's wall looks like that because Ali does not use diagonal walls on his settings for play attack, also doesn't use the table that I do, and so that's going to throw me off for sure. But yeah, that's a wall there on D1. I don't know. Yeah, diagonal walls are just so much easier for me to see, and yeah, I'm a big proponent of diagonal walls. All right, is he going to drop at A3? Okay, he is dropping at A3, continuing making that threat, despite black's wall ready to cut it off by coming up onto D2. So that happens. White immediately places at E3. And so maintains the momentum here. So if black came up with D3 onto D4, then white could play at D3 and make a threat, but instead black comes left with the capstone. Now white's going to play off to the side to keep black from making that horizontal threat. White probably going to play an F5 here. That works towards white's vertical and also cuts off black's horizontal, but then black will likely play at F4 to continue building that threat out. But white can play at E1 now and make the threat if he wants to, and it looks like that's what he's going to do. Maybe. He's thinking about it. Yeah, plays at E1, makes the threat, forces a move from black. Black's got to make a capture, makes the capture down, cuts off that threat. Now black is making attack threat here. White can cut that off in a number of ways, potentially with the capstone. Is he going to do it? Yeah, he is going to do it. All right. I didn't expect that move. I expected maybe F5 minus to be the move that he made there. So is he going to play an F3 and cut it off with an F3 plus? Because this isn't attack threat for black, but it will be on the next turn if black plays at either A4 or A2. Now, white playing at F3 protects that spot, able to come up onto F4 and make the threat. Or he could drop a wall at E5 and maybe come down with that. That could be able to, could be used to liberate the captive on E4. Or does he have something else in mind here? A flat on E5 could work too, but I wouldn't want to give that much power to the capstone. I do feel like F3 works here, but looks like he's going to choose for E5. Oh, I see why he's doing E5. So E5 works for that vertical threat and able to cut off black's horizontal, but it's also working towards white's own horizontal threat up there at the top. And I didn't consider that before, but that's definitely something that he could use. Now, this is attack threat from black. Easy to miss. Very easy to miss. The threat is B2 plus. That would be the road. And so white's thinking about coming up with C2 onto C3. That would cut it off and would also work towards white's horizontal that they're building. White would be able to, after this turn, if they could capture by placing first on C6 or B5, that would be how you would do that, make that threat. So he's still 2 moves out from making attack threat here, but... Well, or 1 move out if he wants to capture first instead of place, but placing is good. Placing is better than capturing for most occasions. All right, what is he gonna do? So black's thinking about this one. And we look at the time here. Ali just now got to 15 minutes, so he's been taking on average right on 15 seconds per turn. And fwwwwwibib is still at 15, almost 16 minutes, really. So he's taking far less than 16 minutes, or 15 seconds per turn. Oh, and that capture means that white's capstone can't come down because that capstone is pinned where it is. White might want to capture over with b3 onto c3 to keep that stack out. Now, this will result in a wall from black. Black will drop a wall here. Fwib loves offensive walls. He's a big proponent of them. He talks about it all the time, and he says that nobody uses them well enough. And so this is his chance to show us how it's done, basically. And he has dropped a wall there at d3. And I think that's smart because I think there was going to be a really good play here from white to spread that out to the right. Probably with an unorthodox spread, dropping a black on d3 and then a white on e3 and then 2 on f3. So it would be 4c3 right 1 1 2. But doesn't get to do that though because of the wall. The wall drops, ready to cut that off. White's thinking about maybe building for that horizontal up above, trying to see if he's got momentum to do that or if black is going to be able to cut him off. If he builds at a5, that works towards his horizontal, but also he can cut off black's anchor point on that horizontal threat. And that anchor point is a good one to cut off there because that'll keep him from finishing that horizontal road. And white's capstone is pinned, but so is black's. So black can go right with his capstone. Black can't go up with the capstone. Same with white. White can't go up or down, but white can go left with the capstone. Drops at b5. And the idea behind that is to build towards that horizontal threat. Now, white can place at either b3 or a5 on the next turn to make a threat. Okay, so black placed at a5, can't place there now to make that threat. But if white plays at b3, that almost guarantees black's capstone or black's wall to come over onto c3. So white's play instead should be something else here, but I'm not sure what it will be. It might be a b5 minus. Now, I say b5 minus because that would free up the capstone to be able to move on this next turn. It would also keep black from making a vertical tag threat at b3. And so b5 minus does both of those things, and freeing the capstone allows it to get on to that stack at c3, even if black were to, well, not if black were to smash it with that wall, because I think there's 2 black flats under that capstone at c4. But it's hard to tell, and I can't adjust it because I'm watching a video. It's a tough one. It's a tricky one, and I agree with Ali right now on the amount of time he's taking on this turn. He is now down to 12 minutes on the clock, but this is a very pivotal turn in this game. He's thinking about bringing f5 minus to cut off that horizontal, but you know that that's just going to result in some b3 placement or the wall capturing onto c3. And he may just be thinking about placing at f3 also. Again, since he doesn't have to worry about black's immediate threat here, he can make that play. I'm not sure who I favor in this position. Black's got some stuff going on. White's capstone is pinned. But I really like, I don't know, I like them both. Black might be in a little bit better position. That wall, being able to capture onto that stack at c3 is really strong. Okay, smart of him to move that stack if he finishes that move. And by dropping the 2 all the way over on a3, he makes it so he can recover that stack because black doesn't have 2 flats next to it. So if black captures down with a4, he can recover it with 2b3 to the left. And so if he had dropped them both on b3, then black would have won that capture war. So he kept it away from the wall, moved it over there. This also works towards white's eventual horizontal threat can spread upwards now with that a3 stack, make a positive flat count differential move. That would be a +3 move. If you're wondering what the heck are you talking about with the +3, that is a flat count differential, or FCD. We talk about that in the FCD, or flat count differential video of TAC University. We also talk about, I've been mentioning PTN, or portable TAC notation. Off to the left, you see the notation lines. That is portable TAC notation. We have a video on that as well called PTN in TAC University. And that's your one-stop shop for basic strategy tips, and also I have some terminology things in there as well. But we talk about all sorts of things like momentum, how to place your capstones, when to capture, when not to capture, how to use walls effectively, all sorts of stuff like that. Black now finally taking his time. Fwib is realizing this position is a pretty tough one, just like Ali was. Taking a little bit more time here. Decides to cut off that vertical line that white was building by capturing over with the wall. I don't know that I agree with that, because I feel like that's kind of weak here. Because white wasn't threatening anything in the vertical direction. White seems like they have more threats going right now in the horizontal direction. Now, does white want to bring up that a3 stack all the way and spread it, go 3a3 plus 1, 2, which would leave them in control of both a4 and a5. It would create some liabilities, though, but it would also be a attack threat by capturing up onto c5 with the capstone. I feel like that's a really good move here. But it would likely result in c5 coming right and capturing onto d5, which would stop the attack threat and also kind of help black out a little bit, give him a little more connection, bring the fight to black's capstone. So that's something that you have to be aware of, I guess. White could also just decide to play at c6 here. Wouldn't be threatening immediately, but it would be prepping for a threat, trying to set up a sort of Tinue play. I think it'd be tough to get Tinue against Fwib, I gotta say that. He is a really strong competitor. In case it wasn't previously mentioned, Fwib is the reigning champion. He won the TAC championships in 2020. And here we are in 2022. We do these TAC championships every 2 years. And he is the reigning champ. So beating him would be huge. It would be huge. Even taking a game off him, I feel like, is something big, because Fwib has been sort of a rock of consistency for a long time, where a lot of players have ups and downs in their games, but it feels like he just plays consistently at his level and just never gets worse. And it's not fair, really. But it looks like white did make that move, coming up with those flats, spreading upwards onto a4 and a5. Now black, now this is attack threat. Black, what I was saying before is c5 right makes a lot of sense here. I guess you could also do b4 plus, since you're no longer pinning the capstone. So black isn't pinning white's capstone anymore. So keeping that b4 flat where it is doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Ooh, brings the capstone up instead. That also makes a lot of sense because that capstone's no longer pinned. But I really like White's position here. I think the last few turns, especially that spread on a4 and a5, really, really works in White's favor here. Now, White might be thinking that Black is trying to set up a capture onto a5 with the capstone, which was possible, sure, but 2b3 plus would have stopped that from happening because it would have resulted in a road for White. So that was one way to stop that I really liked it. So if he was worried about that particular throw, I would have preferred the 2b3 plus move. But ooh, now that wall is in an excellent position. And no matter what White does here on this turn, Black is going to be able to recover some captives. Capture either onto b3 or at a4 and liberate those captives and make some solid positive flag count differential moves here. And White is going to have some trouble figuring out what to do. Looks like they're ready to place at c4. Potentially going around and down to make a connection for the horizontal off to the right. I don't know why they would play at c3 though. Does go for the c4 placement. Now, will fwib capture right away with that wall or leave it and wait to capture after? Yeah, it looks like Black is waiting to capture after White makes some sort of move with one of those stacks so they can recover more captives potentially. Okay, Black playing down below. Doesn't want White to go for any sort of vertical threat here. White's still playing for that vertical. This is a tough one. It's a tough one for sure. Black comes up with that wall onto a4. It's a strong play. Black potentially setting up for a horizontal threat. White setting up for their own vertical threat now. Looks like Ali is adjusting his volume. I can't do anything about that. I did have to cut Ali's audio. He was listening to music throughout this whole thing, and the audio of his music was there. Also, him coughing quite a few times. So I cut that out. He told me about that ahead of time. Let's see what works here for Black. I think Black has enough opportunities to cut off White's vertical that he doesn't need to worry about that right this second. I think what he wants to do is set up some sort of capture, maybe capturing on a5. If he captures on a5 with the wall, White won't be able to recover it with the capstone. That would lead to a road for Black. But instead, Black plays at d3. I don't know about d3. White's thinking about making that tack threat. And I like the tack threat waiting to make it with c5 here. Because now, if that vertical tack threat gets dismantled, White can just build at d6 and make the horizontal tack threat. But that would invite black's wall to come up onto a5. And black doesn't need any more reasons to jump up onto that a5 spot with that wall. Seems to be a pretty solid position and a pretty solid move. Yeah, I really like that move coming to a4 plus. It seems really good to me. But not right now, obviously, because that would be a loss. Okay, so he throws it down. I think I would have dismantled this threat in a different way. He's checking that move like, wait, what did he just do? Yeah, I would have done that a completely different way. Now white is free to place at d6 and doesn't have to worry about that wall capturing the stack. Black can make attack threat on the following turn by b4 minus, but first has to disrupt white's threat. And that would take either a wall or probably coming down with a6. a6 minus makes the most sense to me here for black. White's now made the threat at d6. Black has to stop this with either a capture or a wall at e6. I am not sure what the I like a6 minus here. A6 minus here looks good. And we do take a look at the time. Fwib's got 11 minutes on the clock. Ali 7.5. So about 2.5 minutes between them. That's a pretty solid buffer. Pretty solid buffer for sure. Black drops the wall, surprising. I expected that a6 minus move to happen. Really shutting down. Let's take a look at the flat count. Maybe that's what Fwib is seeing. 13 for white. 9, 11 for black. 11 because of the two Comey. So that's why... Yeah, black should have captured instead of dropped that wall. That wall's going to put him farther and farther behind on flats. White is up on flats, even with the Comey for black. That just, yeah, that's just a brutal position. White's thinking of dropping an f3. I like a4 better than f3. Because, I mean, they both take at least 2 turns to make a threat. Yeah, I think f3 might be better here. Because black's working on that horizontal, and they want to do that with b4 minus. And f3 would ruin that, because you could come up with f3 and capture onto f4. Ooh, drops the wall. That is a strong defensive wall, but he knows he can do it because he's up by 2 flats. So he can afford that wall. If black flats on this next turn, he's up by 1 flat. And it looks like black decided to flat up at b6. And then white fills in there at a4. Not in too much danger of a board fill here. Still 5 spaces available. But white is significantly lower on reserves, it looks like. Or maybe they're pretty close. It's hard to tell with the angle. Black drops now at c1. Potentially going for a vertical. White's going to bring the wall up, maybe? I don't know. I feel like white should flat here. because white's ahead on flats. Neither of them have positive flat count differential moves. And white could have just pushed towards a board fill here by placing another flat. Black doesn't have too many options for making a road threat that black can't stop. Yeah, I think a flat would have been better there, but can't blame Ali for being cautious against fwib. I mean, fwib is a powerhouse, so. Now, one thing about fwib is that he has not been playing too often in on Playtac, at least that we've been aware of. He has not been playing too much over the past year, very infrequently, taking several months away from the game, it looks like. And Ali hasn't been super active as either, but played a little bit more frequently and a little more recently than fwib has. So I think that that could give him a little edge. Maybe maybe fwib's a little rusty, but he is a little behind on flats here. Has had to play 4 walls, and yeah, he's in a difficult spot. I feel like white is definitely in control of this game, and that could be due to fwib being rusty. 9.5 minutes on the clock for fwib, 6 for Ali. Still 2.5 minutes between them. Sorry, 3.5 minutes between them. Yeah, if I'm fwib, what do I do here? I need to make some conversions. I need to convert areas. So Ali is counting. You can see his mouse hover over those flats and count the flats where he's at right now. And he's winning on flats, I know that. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 14 for white. 10 for, or no, 12 for black. So he's up by 2 flats. Potentially 1. So 1 flat once black places. But white can push for a board fill. And there's not much white can do to recover and make positive flat count differential moves, which is what you need to make here. You need to make +2 and +3 flat count moves in order to come back from a situation like this. Black's capstone is pinned where it is. Can't go up or down. It would lead to a road for white. Comes up, and I think that was a self-capture. Yeah, that was a self-capture. And that was to stop white from capturing it with their own wall. Now, white's going to drop here at f3. And now the reason white's not dropping at e3 is because that would give black the potential to bring that wall down and make a +3 move as opposed to a +2 move. And he wants to keep black behind on flats. And it looks like right after he plays at f3, black plays at f2. He's sort of baiting white to play at e3. White's going to fill in here. There's 3 spots left. Black, I think, is now down by 3 flats, if I'm not mistaken. Four flats, down by 4 flats. If black places on this next turn, he's down by 3 flats. But he's down by 4 right now. Ooh, this is a tough one. Oh, he throws it up. He throws the wall up, trying to make some good moves here for flat count, and also to keep from getting board filled. What does white do? He wants to move those flats over, capture onto b4 probably. But how does he want to do that is the question. Does he want to bring 1 over? Does he want to bring 2 over? Does he want to bring 2 over 1, 1? I think he wants to bring 2 over. Or, no, he doesn't want to play at a2, because that would give black an even stronger move for flat count differential. That was a good play, and it was smart. It was something that fwib definitely needed to do. It was a move of desperation for sure, and it was one of the only things he had going for him. Definitely needed to do something like that. Definitely needed that. White cannot smash that wall at a5. It would result in a road for black. Looks like he is going for bringing both of them over onto b4. Yeah, he's going to drop them both there. Not attack threat. Oh, it is attack threat. Oh, that's sneaky. That is sneaky. Okay, the reason why it's a sneaky attack threat is because he can leave behind a black flat on b4 and then bring those top 2 white flats down 1, 1. So that would be a 2b4 minus 1, 1 move. And what that would do is that would give him a road going from b1 all the way to c6. And that's tricky to spot because you typically don't want to leave behind the black flat that looks to be part of your road threat here. And so that's sneaky. You could also just bring up the whole thing, 3b4 minus 2, 1. And that would do the same thing. But that's a good move. He makes the move. It sets him up for a road. Black probably won't miss this. He's got a lot of time, and he's also fwib. so the odds of him missing this attack threat are very slim. Did not miss it. No, did not miss it. Is there something else here for white, though? Black comes over with the other wall, ready to make some more positive flat count differential moves, recover captives. This is a tricky position here for black, for sure. White's going to spread over both, over to the side here. This is attack threat again for white. Ooh, not only is it attack threat, it's a double attack threat. It's a horizontal threat and a vertical threat at the same time. Playing at e3 gives him the vertical. Playing at c4 or capturing down with d4 gives him the horizontal. And so black needs to stop both of those. And he can, but only by throwing that wall back over. And or bring the e5 wall down. Wait. Yeah, he brought the e6 wall down onto e5. That stopped it. White renewing that horizontal threat. Black, it's important to note, black cannot come down with a capstone because then white could smash the wall on e5 and make the vertical threat. Says fwib reconnect. That means he must have disconnected a moment ago, but he's back. So black cannot move that capstone down. It will lead to a loss because white will smash that wall for a road. Black can throw that wall stack from b4 over. It would be a +2 move, and it would recover captives and set him up for a good spread in 2 turns. He does do that. He does make that move. Looking risky here. White looks like they're going to play at b4. And if they play at b4, it's not a threat right away. And it sets black up to potentially make some other moves. Oh, I don't know. So not attack threat here. If I'm black... Oh, it is attack threat. Oh, that's sneaky. Okay, that's attack threat from a3 all the way to f6. So if you played it at e6, it would have been a road. So black spreads down with the wall, sees that threat, cuts it off. But now if white plays at a2, then that wall stack can bring 3a3 minus and cut off that road. So white's not going to play there at a2, even though it would be attack threat, because if they do it, it leads them into a bad spot in terms of flat count. 16 for white, or maybe less now. I think, I don't know how many for white now. Oh my goodness. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Oh my goodness. White throws it all the way down to the bottom. I did not see that move, and obviously black didn't see the move either. What a phenomenal play. Now, Ali has done stuff like this before and done it quite a few times, where he's made these plays where he's thrown the stack from downtown all the way over and make the road. That is so well done. I'm very impressed with that. Well done. Well played. That was a heck of a game. Both players, like, that was so fun to watch. And so well played, Fwib, but congratulations to Ali for winning game 1 of this 4-game series in the quarterfinals of this 2022 TAC Championship. Oh man, that was such a great ending. Such a great ending to that game. I'm sure Fwib thinks it's not as great as it could have been, but that was a great game. We saw some really masterful plays there. So thanks everybody for watching. That is it for today. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAC, especially the TAC Discord server, which is where you can find all sorts of TAC resources like strategy guides and people to play with. Whether that be on playtac.com, like we were playing here, or over on the Discord server playing asynchronously, or even playing in person with folks near you. We have a map that shows where a lot of TAC players are. So check that out in the Discord server, and until next time, have a great day and happy tacking.